When the Roman Republic stretched its powerful arms across the Mediterranean Sea, reaching deep into the hearts of the ancient world, there lay beyond the towering Alps a wild and challenging land. It was Gaul. Its vast expanse was covered in dense and dark forests, swift and deep rivers, and its boundaries were marked by the brave and fierce Celtic tribes. These tribes were known for their ferocity in battle, their loyalty to their people, and their love for their homeland. They were experts in defense, attack, and survival, thanks to their knowledge of the terrain and their connection to nature. However, despite their bravery and skills, the tribes of Gaul were scattered and divided amongst themselves, which made it difficult for them to unite and stand up against the invaders. At the same time, on the other border of Gaul, lived the mighty Germanic tribes who eagerly awaited their chance to invade the weakened land. During this time, Rome had spread its influence far and wide, bringing different peoples under its dominion. But managing such a vast territory presented challenges, especially in a place like Gaul, where the local tribes were known for their rebellious nature. At the time, a man named Julius Caesar, driven by ambition, desire for honor and glory, and the need to acquire an army that was obedient to him rather than the Senate, was appointed the governor of the province of Gaul, a position that came with the responsibility of maintaining peace and order in this unruly province. But Caesar didn't see it as just another administrative post. No, he wanted more. He sought fame and fortune. He wanted an army of his own that would follow him through thick and thin, and he wanted to write his name in gold letters in the history books. And then fortune smiled upon him. The Helvetia, a large and influential tribe of the region, decided to leave their homes and migrate to lands across the Rhine River. Passing through lands controlled by Rome, the Germanic Suabi tribe, led by the cunning warrior Ariovistus, also posed a threat on the northern border. The perfect excuse had appeared before Caesar. He declared these migrations a threat to Roman security, and used it as a casus belli to justify marching his army into Gaul in 58 BC, and so began the decade-long Gallic Wars. Caesar's victories were nothing short of astonishing. His army, renowned for its speed and efficiency, covered incredible distances. They marched through rain or shine, over rough terrain, never losing their stride. To demonstrate their strength and reach to the Germanic tribes, Caesar ordered the construction of 2 massive bridges across the wide and formidable Rhine River, allowing his troops to enter German territory. These bridges stood as symbols of Roman power, sending a clear message to the Germanic tribes. Not even the mighty Rhine could stop the might of Rome. Caesar even crossed the sea to the mysterious island of Britannia twice. Although he did not permanently conquer Britannia, these actions created immense astonishment and admiration throughout Rome. Caesar led the Roman army to fight the Gallic tribes one by one. Some he defeated in direct combat, others he forced to surrender through sieges. He exploited the internal divisions of the Gallic tribes, playing them against each other to weaken their overall resistance. With each victory, Caesar's fame grew, and his triumphs were celebrated in the streets of Rome with parades, feasts, and public spectacles. But the freedom-loving Gauls did not surrender easily. In 52 BC, under the leadership of the brave and intelligent Vercingetorix of the Arverni tribe, almost all the Gallic tribes united in a great rebellion. Vercingetorix, a young chieftain with the heart of a lion and the mind of a strategist, rallied the Gauls to stand up against the Roman invaders. For the Gauls, it was a fight for their homes, their families, and their very existence. Dorix became the figurehead of the Gallic resistance, uniting rival tribes under his banner and coordinating attacks against the Romans. His name became a symbol of hope and resistance. Echoing through the forests and valleys of Gaul, this was the most significant challenge to Caesar and his army since he invaded Gaul. The fate of Gaul, and perhaps Rome itself, seemed to hang in the balance. The decisive point of the war arrived at the city of Alesia. Vercingetorix led his loyal Gallic army to defend a fortress on a hilltop, protected by thick walls and natural barriers. Caesar, with his keen strategic mind, wasted no time in taking action. He deployed his forces to lay siege to the city, determined to capture it and crush the rebellion once and for all. As the Roman army closed in, the Gauls prepared to resist, knowing that their freedom depended on it. The citizens of Alesia, both men and women, took up arms alongside the warriors, forming a united front against the invaders. The siege dragged on, and the situation grew desperate. Supplies dwindled, and the people faced starvation. But still they held on, refusing to surrender to the Romans. Caesar, aware of the stubborn resistance, ordered his engineers to design ever more sophisticated weapons to break through the Gallic defenses. Ballistae and catapults rained down arrows and stones upon the city walls, shaking the foundations of Alesia. But the Gallic defenders, with their knowledge of the terrain and determination to protect their homeland, managed to withstand the onslaught. Meanwhile, word of the siege reached neighboring Gallic tribes, and reinforcements were on their way to relieve the beleaguered city of Alesia. As the Roman army struggled to contain the situation, Caesar devised a brilliant plan that would change the course of the war. Realizing the threat posed by the approaching Gallic relief army, Caesar ordered the construction of an incredible double line of fortifications. The first line encircled the city of Alesia, preventing anyone from escaping. Meanwhile, the second line was constructed facing outwards, forming a vast defensive perimeter around the entire Roman camp. This ingenious strategy transformed the battlefield, turning the siege of Alesia into one of the most remarkable military operations in history. Caesar's Roman army was now surrounded by vast numbers of enemies on two fronts. The Gallic relief army desperately tried to break through the Roman defenses, while the Gallic soldiers inside the city attempted to break out from within the encirclement. The weary Roman soldiers fought between two deaths. But with their strong discipline and the leadership of Caesar, who was on the front lines, encouraging and commanding at every critical point, they successfully repelled the overwhelming assaults. After several long and bloody days of fighting, the Gallic relief army was routed, realizing that all hope was lost. Vercingetorix decided to perform an act that the world would remember. He rode his horse, fully adorned in his regalia, into Caesar's camp and threw down his weapons at Caesar's feet, surrendering with the honor of a warrior. This surrender symbolized the collapse of Gallic independence. Although there were minor uprisings afterward, the land of Gaul fell completely under Roman power. Caesar's victory in the Gallic Wars brought him immense greatness and wealth. He had an army of veterans ready to do anything for him. The conquered land of Gaul became a new source of resources and manpower for Rome. The immense success was what gave him enough power and influence to march his army across the Rubicon River back into Rome and challenge the authority of the Senate, which ultimately led to the final civil war. This is the story of Julius Caesar's conquest of Gaul, a battleground of bravery, genius, and ambition that changed the face of history for both Gaul and Rome forever. What do you think of Julius Caesar? Comment below. Also, check out our other videos and tell us which period of history you want us to cover next. See you there.